Hello.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Connector Talk. I brought on a very special guest for you guys. Her name is Gabi, and how do I know you again?
I think you're my boyfriend.
Oh,
Last time I
yeah,
checked,
I'm your
yes.
boyfriend. Okay, yeah. So, I'm super excited just to do a quick overview. Connector Talks, where I bring on people who are all about connecting with their audience, connecting with their team, and doing it for a reason and really creating a network out of their life. So Gabby is very interesting. I'm going to tell the quick story of how we met, and it kind of goes back to why I think connectors are so important, which is, I was doing what I love to do. You were doing what you love to do, which is, I direct videos. You were acting and being the talent, and then we met up and we collaborated on a project. Do you remember anything about that project we first worked on?
Um, it was about high school. We were in high school, and
Hmm.
it was like taking the audience through a journey of kind of reminiscing.
Hmm.
But and it was yeah, very touching, like a very touching kind of story, and of how to not lose yourself in the past and
Yeah, that
yeah,
was super cool. Yeah, it was
be
it was
present.
my it was my senior project, and it was a film called Bookmarked. I'll put it in the description. And it was basically just my way of I really hope people don't live with regrets. And it was kind of like a video about someone who was really regretful that they didn't live, the high school that they wanted. And Gabby was the main actor in it. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, we get to talk all the time about this kind of stuff. But tell me a bit about what you value about having connections with people and how you've used it to make an impact, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think connecting with people is like my number one most important thing that I try to do on a daily basis. Even if I'm just like just making eye contact, like communicating my energy to that person is so
Hmm.
important because what a lot of people don't realize is everybody is bringing you themselves all day long, and for a lot of us, it's we take in everything that everybody is giving us. But you're allowed to have your own energy to hold, and you don't always have to be taking. You can hold your energy and your presence and give that to everyone you interact with. And so that's something I've been practicing recently. But
Mm.
connecting, having holding those connections and helping bringing somebody's something positive um, can really change the world. And it's in the kind of um, minuscule interactions. It's not. It doesn't often come in huge waves. It's more our daily choices to connect.
Sure. And what kind of things have you done? Because I'm trying to point towards this last project you were just doing.
Yeah.
Like, how are you taking this kind of theory, philosophy, fact, whatever you want to call it, and using it to help people? I mean, because obviously you can help yourself a lot by making sure your energy is secure and that you're not letting people throw you off. But what are you doing for other people? What have you done for other people with this kind of philosophy?
Yeah. So in October of 2016, I blindfoldedly stuck pins in a map and traveled the world with my partner, Nikki Lay. And we went to prove that you can find compassion everywhere in the world, like no
Mm.
matter where, what situation or culture, compassion is universal. And uh, that obviously takes connecting with people.
Sure.
And when there's a language barrier and like these kind of different layers that you have to peel through, it can get tricky, especially when some countries don't even have the word for compassion. But we were definitely able to prove it and find it, and we learned a lot about different cultures
Sure.
and kind of how connection plays into society. And
Mm.
so we're taking that knowledge and we want to apply it to build a nonprofit that helps bring communities together,
Hmm.
becoming more cohesive and loving, and creating a foundation for communities to grow together.
Hmm.
And so compassion plays a huge part, and connection is part of that. if I was able to connect to people in 5 different countries, barriers, and not just one person from each country, but multiple groups of people, then we for sure can do that here in our own communities. We can do that every day. And I think that's what's really powerful. And what's been coming along in the past maybe month or so is kind of these puzzle pieces that are helping me fit together this full image of how to kind of do that. And so it's been very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I got mainly from your trip was that, like, you know, there's places around the world and everybody has needs: emotional, financial, relationship. Everybody has a deficit in something. And no matter what that is, if there's compassion in place, then you could fix those needs. Compassion is like the base element of that you need to initiate change in a big way or small way, you know. So that's super interesting that you went around there to do it. So speaking of, you know, since I want to bring this more entrepreneurial, which is like, you know, sometimes we as entrepreneurs struggle with just connecting with each other as a team. You know, apart from trying to help the world, sometimes you know, you got to connect with your clients. You got to be able to be clear. You know, you're talking about 5 different languages and how you're able, like, some people can't even connect with their own language of English, you know, because they're not picking the right words. They're not operating from the right place. So the struggle happens all the time. And that's what's cool about what you did is, you know, approaching things compassionately always fixes the problem, because communication's key, right? So listening, really empathizing, that's all the keys. So what I want to do here, because we don't have too much time, is I want to, you know, invite people to ask their questions. If you have any questions for me and Gabi, I think a cool little thing is like, ask your entrepreneurial relationship questions. I think we both, you know, we've had an interesting road as I try to, you know, do my entrepreneurial things. You try to do your entrepreneurial things, and how we mesh that together, and how we live such a happy relationship. You know, I think, at least before I met you, I would have wanted to ask my questions to a couple that has done it. So if you guys have any questions regarding entrepreneurial relationships, let us know. So so cool. I mean, what do you think about the idea of like trying to connect with a lot of people, like using the internet? Do you think that's something, you know, people should be doing?
Definitely. But it really, you have to operate from a core value if you're trying to spread a big message. If you get lost in kind of the little things that happen, then you won't communicate as fully, or it won't come across as true, because people will look at you and be like, well, she's preaching compassion, but like, look at her watching these like fighting videos, you know? So there's, if you want to do it on the internet, it can be so powerful. And I've had people from all the countries that I've visited, they all still support me on social media, and they spread the message across in their groups, which is crazy. It's really cool to still be able to interact with people from Chile or people from Laos, and students, you know, that we impacted. So it's cool to not only teach them the powers of like manifestation and how to limbs and why they're important, but to be an example on the internet for them to come back to and refer to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and still get support, which is cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess what I would say is that, like, you know, relationships online are just like relationships in person. And I think we get stuck of thinking of it like a distribution tool. Like, let me just make a bunch of friends all at once. Let me get a bunch of likes. Let me get a bunch of this, a bunch of that. But really, you got to foster it in the same way. You got to think of each person individually as if they were standing in front of you. I mean, at least that's where I've seen a lot of success is I use the internet to connect with people when I'm not physically in front of them, and I don't treat them, you know, if not, I do more for them, because like this interview, for example, this is more communication. This is telling more. So I think like the big tip I would have is don't treat the internet anything shy of a real connection, like as if it were in real person.
Yeah.
which is very
Definitely.
great. Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to say to the audience that, is struggling trying to connect with people, that's trying to deepen their connections, things like that?
Um, yeah, I would say if you have a passion and a goal and you align yourself with that every single day and you
Hmm.
wake up thinking about that and thinking about how you can present that through your daily choices, you'll align yourself with the right people, and it will really you'll create your own network um, through
Hmm.
manifestation, and it can be very powerful, but you do have to, around your thoughts, your being, what you bring to the table when you're talking to somebody or interacting.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. You gotta be operating from that core thing, or else the network's not going to be that strong, because you're just going to have like a bunch of random interactions because you're being random, because you're not sticking to your goals. So you're meeting all these random people and then they're not connecting the best way they could. Humans, of course, can connect always with each other, but like if you really want a strong network, you just live your purpose, and everybody who you connect with during that is like me. I was filming videos and I found you, and it's just a stronger connection. It's more potent, more energy.
Mm.
So cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. I got to go hop into a meeting right now, but I appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
board. I love you so much.
I love you. Okay,
All right. See you guys.
bye.
Thank you.